Building an altar doesn't have to be hard. When I first started out with witchcraft, I fell into the aesthetics that everything had to be a certain way. And it was overwhelming and honestly hard to navigate until I discovered the fact that however I wanted my altar to look, whatever worked for me and my practice was the right way for me. I didn't need any fancy tools or any special items. What I needed was a space for me to practice that worked for me. And once I realized that, I now have several altars. I have one for my creativity, one for my ancestors, and today I'm making one for my plant workings and prosperity workings. You don't have to have different altars for different things, but this is what works for me. As you can see, I am clearing off a bookshelf in my office. This used to be what my altar used to be on before I inherited my family's hope chest that was filled with all sorts of ancestral items and turned that into my main working space. But I wanted a place where I could work with my plants, my plant allies, and plant spirits. Lo and behold, I was able to purchase some very beautiful items from a close friend of mine, the Pottery Witch, and it inspired me to turn a small little space into a working space for my practice. I have two beautiful Christmas cactuses. One is named Eleanor. She named herself, and she's a cutting from my mother's plant. And then there is Beatrice, the smaller of the two, and she was a cutting from my mother-in-law's plant. So there's a lot of maternal energy on this altar space. I think it's very important to have that maternal energy when working with plant energy because the two kind of go hand in hand. I also have the two herbs that I use the most in my practice in these beautiful glass jars that my friend gave me. One has lavender that she gifted, and the other one has rosemary that I added myself. The little altar works perfectly to hold my crystals of moss agate, aventurine, and citrine. This brass plate I thrifted years ago and has been the home for many an item and many of altars. But I think it's found its home here. And this bunny, well, bunnies follow me around. They're kind of my animal of signs. I have rabbits that show up when I need a pick-me-up or some guidance, and opossums that show up when I need to be more confident and more myself. So I thought having a little bunny on my altar was appropriate. This brass plate also allows me to do all sorts of different workings, from prosperity to seed blessings and so on and so forth. And what I like about the altar from my friend is that it both brings in the lunar and the solar energies, which is what the world follows as the natural cycle of the day and the night. I include a bell. They're my 3-monkey bell, because whenever I open my workings or close my workings, I usually ring the bells 3 times. I don't know why I do this. I've just always done it. It might go back to when I was raised Catholic and they would ring the bells before breaking of the bread and the giving of the wine. But something about it just is deeply rooted in what I feel works for me in my practice. And there you go. Everything that I wanted in a small little working space for my herbal, plant, and magic workings. Like I said, building an altar doesn't have to be hard. It just has to work for you.